MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, along with my friend with a gun.
Used to.
Chris Reed joins us this morning, and thank you for filling in for Candace.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
As I mentioned, Candace is off for family emergency. She had someone pass away, and condolences to her and her family during this difficult time, and that is very difficult when you lose someone. So our hearts go out to her and her family as they go through this road of untraveled before. Just rough there. Well, it is today is Tuesday as we're headed toward the weekend. Sunshine and going to be hot. I highly suggest if you go outside, you wear a ball cap because it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you wear. I mean, it's just going to be mucho, or muy caliente.
Whatever he said.
Very hot.
All right, we got 59 minutes. What you got to talk about today? I ain't got anything.
I don't have anything. Well, y'all have a good day. We enjoyed it. Oh, I can talk now. My wife says that.
Oh, is that what she said?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she says it. And other people do, too.
One of the biggest discussions going on right now, and I bring this up because I know you were there. You were in Afghanistan.
Well, I was in Iraq.
Which is real similar?
Yeah, pretty much. Basically the same thing going on, no matter if it was Afghanistan or Iraq. But I've got some good buddies that are actually currently in Afghanistan right now doing contract work.
Now, contract work in the airport, although the government tells you that you can come get a plane ride, you really can't get there, can you?
No, you can't.
And that is being blocked by the bad guys.
Right. I guess what's going on logistically and obviously operationally is even though we have a footprint at the airport, that the perimeter, we don't have a footprint per se. The Taliban does. And which has been recognized as a terrorist group, obviously. So
could not the United States do something about this, or is this backing out just show that we're not?
Yeah.
What's your personal thoughts on that?
Yeah, my personal thoughts is we could definitely do something about it. But when we choose not to, then that's where we start having some...
To show that we're weak, in your opinion?
Yeah, show that we're weak. You have to have somebody that can stand up and say, here's the deal. No, we're not going to listen to you. We're not going to let you control this and dictate this. This is what we're going to do.
But they are actually telling us right now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, when you have a leader, and I'm not going to
not getting political.
I'm not going to allow you to get me political.
I'm trying not to.
My neck gets warm, but I'm going to. I want to entertain this for a second.
Just imagine it.
Yeah. When you have a leader, just 2 weeks ago, when he was asked that if he trusts the Taliban, he said no, they're a terrorist group.
Okay.
And then a week and a half later, he says, hey, we're going to cooperate with the Taliban. This is what they said that they allow us to do. Allow us to do. Allow the most powerful country in the world to do.
I don't like the sound of that.
Exactly. And so that's what you see going on now is everybody agrees, I agree, that there is a time to withdraw. But how you do that, you have to have a plan set in place. Don't remove don't remove yourself, that footprint, that security, and then turn around a week later and say, oh, well, let's go ahead and get our people out. Well, it's too late, and now we're dealing what we're dealing with now over there. So it's just a sad situation.
Now in Coleman, Alabama, Saturday night, and of course there's a lot of folks that love Trump. There's a lot of folks that dislike Trump. But Trump's words were, "It is the greatest military defeat of all time." Do you rate that pretty accurate?
I say I understand why he said what he said.
He went on to say it's a total surrender in Trump's words.
Yeah, basically it is. Look, facts and stats and numbers do not lie. How many thousands of Americans and allies to the American people are still stuck there, all right, and are being controlled by a terrorist group?
And that's my next question, because I've never been to a foreign country in my life. I've never served in the military, and so I'm just average Joe here in America that doesn't know the setup, what goes on there. Say that there's the airport here, you're 200 miles out in Afghanistan somewhere. What do you do right now? Because if you were to leave and try to get to the airport, you would, when they discover you're an American, it could turn bad. And there, am I right to say that the American military is not coming to get two people at a house here and there?
Right. Yeah. I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
When I was in Iraq and I was leaving in 2011, the big army, the United States, we pulled out. We pulled out, and so we had a footprint at every checkpoint in Iraq, and so we had to travel to the BIOP, which is the Iraqi Baghdad International Airport.
Right.
And so our camp was probably 15, 20 miles, probably give or take, from the airport itself. Well, we had to go through probably 7 or 8 different checkpoints. Well, once the big army left, then the Iraqi government took control of that. You had the Iraqi police, you had the federal police, and then you had 3 Iraqi entities trying to see who was in charge of that checkpoint. So once the big army left, then the American contractors that were left there, they still had to get to the airport. Well, we were under complete control of the Iraqi government. Well, they put out a mandate: we catch any Americans on the road, that you're going to jail. Well, I'd have already been thrown in Iraqi jail, and it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant at all.
Did you get stripes and the whole thing?
Yeah. So basically, to get to the airport, it was dictated based on what they decided. We pulled up at a checkpoint, and one of them would say, "Hey, if I see you again on the road, you're going to jail." So it was a logistical nightmare, and so it put us on lockdown for a while. And so what you're dealing with in Afghanistan is similar. Whatever. Yeah, there's an American footprint at the airport, but outside the airport, who controls that? Who runs that? And then now you have the Taliban, a terrorist group, dictating when they're gonna allow us to get our people out. You have until August the 31st, and then after that, there's going to be consequences.
Yeah, that's the headline here. I'm sitting here reading this to where a minute people are threatening us, and we're letting them do it.
We're allowing them to do it. Look, the whole issue with the Trump and the Sleepy Joe. And not Sloppy Joe, but Sleepy Joe.
It's Sleepy.
Yeah. The whole is their hate for Trump personally. But no one can ever argue the fact that every third world country and every country in this world respected him and listened to what he said. He said, "Hey, do this or else." And they knew that or else. If they didn't do that or else, there were going to be consequences.
There'd be a nice little package.
Now
delivered.
you see where there are no consequences, and people realize that.
Does it remind you of anything else? just say it out loud.
I plead the 5th.
What a mess our country is in, and it divides our country. So we had our little issue there years ago, 150 so years ago. But for the most part, since then, we've all gotten along. There's different regions, but I have never seen America so divided on every issue in the book. Right. And we'll get into another issue here in just a little while. But it's an argument every day. Did you see where the reporter from Fox News said that Jill should be ashamed for letting her husband run in the condition he's in, and now the White House is going, "You need to apologize." Well, the Taliban is not going to apologize to you.
Yeah, they're not going to. It just shows how divided we are as a country, and that's why we are kind of have become the laughing stock, and basically a subject of every country in this world. That we're so divided as a people. So how can we have anybody else interest in the right mindset and in order? We just don't, because, and look, the enemy's having a field day with that. I'll just tell you, he is. If you're, we get our truth and we get our facts, and we are so controlled by what Fox News or CNN says, and it completely ruins and destroys our life. We deal during the day with negative based on the news, based on, this political group, that political group, and then we come home and we expect to be all fine and stuff with a family.
All right, let me ask this, because this bulletin went out, was it a week ago, that a high terrorist alert has been put out for the United States of America that something could happen through like November. All right, you were in law enforcement. What does that, when you get those bulletins, what does that mean? Is there really a threat? Do they know something that they're just not going to tell the American people that could happen?
Yeah, on the national level, if there is an actual threat or a possible threat, usually it's not disseminated down on the local level unless it specifically affects that region or that area in the United States, based on their intel and based on their information they're getting. On the local level, when we have a threat, say from our federal partners, DEA, FBI, ATF, or whatever, that there's a possible threat or whatever, yeah, we take it serious. And I'd much rather be too prepared,
Right.
And nothing happened than not prepared enough and then something happened. Like I said before, we usually wait for something bad to happen before we change, implement, revise, or amend policy. So I'm just a big, huge proponent of preventive maintenance. So we take those things seriously on the local level.
And, as we look at this, they terrorists often look for where there's a large group of people where they could harm the most people at one time. Of course, we saw that with the I read this morning, early before daylight. Spike Lee, who is a movie maker,
Right,
where he is saying that he doesn't believe that 9/11 happened, that it was orchestrated and they set up, it was a demolition of the building.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who believe that?
I've actually had encounters with individuals myself that believe that. And look, you're not going to convince them otherwise. That there's always a governmental conspiracy about the government is behind this, government's behind that.
Now, I think we would both agree that there was some fault that happened on that day when news was sent over, y'all need to do this, and maybe they didn't act quick enough. Whoever was at the controls didn't move quick enough, but it did happen.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, reality is it did happen. How it happened, what the response was. Obviously, you always go back and do a post.
Kind of like Pearl Harbor. You remember there was, and people kind of sat back and waited a few minutes before they acted,
right?
And it was bad.
There are times throughout history, especially in the United States, that we've never experienced something, and then we haven't experienced 9/11, something to that magnitude, and so we don't expect it. But here's the deal. I don't believe as a nation we're working on preventive maintenance. If we were working on preventive maintenance, then do you honestly believe that we would just have our borders wide open and allow anyone to cross our borders through the Texas-Mexico border?
I do not.
If we were really concerned about another 9/11, we're not concerned about another 9/11. We're concerned about getting as many people in here so I can get the votes.
And that's what it is.
Period. That's it.
On top of that, you're letting people with diseases, and it may not just be the COVID. It could be other things that could come out of this. Plus, as you said, you don't know who's blending in with the crowd. And any movie that you watch where the bad guy, when he's trying to escape, he blends in with the crowd and gets out.
Yeah,
and they can't find him.
I believe the reason people are so upset is because it's, on the local level, but also nationally, is you have a government that they have no trust in. And what I mean by that is this: you have a government that says, wear your mask.
Yeah.
Right? Don't worry about the thousands of people that's crossing the border.
And you go.
Right? And the statistics and the numbers showing the spike in the COVID cases among men, women, and children, and they're just flooding in, and we're not doing anything about that. But hey, tell your child to wear that mask in school.
That's right.
It makes no sense whatsoever. On a national level, that's why people have no confidence in this government, because they're saying one thing out of their left side of their mouth and they're saying another thing out of the right side of their mouth, and are allowing those things to happen.
Now, on the little conspiracy side that I do have, I have no way of ever proving this. Milton brought this up. That last plane on 9/11, think of yourself as being the president. It is headed towards somewhere to blow something up. Do you send a fighter jet to take it down, or do you go with that story that the people of the plane took it down? That's a very toughie.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to ever say I took out Americans. What really happened, I don't know.
Yeah. I think when it gets to the point, man, we've seen incidences like that on movies
Yeah.
where they do that, saying, hey, this is inevitable, this is the target that they're going to, we have to take it out prior to.
Well, let me ask this, since I got you on the conspiracy theory.
Right.
Do you really believe in JFK? There was one bullet that went down the street, turned around, made a U-turn, come back, and done all that? I'm thinking grassy knoll, folks.
I started to bring that example up when we were talking about conspiracy, I guess, theoristic subjects. But
I mean, seriously, on that, before I get off of it, you hunt like I do.
Right.
When you fire a bullet, the pattern is going usually is the way something falls. If the shot come from behind JFK, wouldn't he have went forward instead of back? That's just, and I'm sure there's some theoriologist that could.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Unless you believe the movie Wanted, where you can curve a bullet.
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't happening. So
It's not happening.
y'all think about that a second. We'll be right back on that thought. As we turn to our thoughts down at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply, they opened up about 7:30 this morning. And if you're wanting, and they say hurry, if you're after pine straw to put around your plants, come on down. They got a little bit left there. And I think they also got some chicks this morning. If you're looking to have a few chickens around the place, they've got it. As we get ready for fall, I know your wife's going to be decorating before long. And if you don't get a job, you're going to be doing this. I'm warning you. That's happening. So as we get ready for fall, they've got lots for you there in the gift shop there to choose from, to get you going, make things look a lot better. As we get ready for, this is the big one. Deer season is only a few months away. Everybody's out now, starting to put up their game cameras, put their feeders out, and tractors are rolling each weekend, bush hogging and dropping those discs. Game cameras to see what's out there. And, of course, you'll need boots as we head into the winter season there. Georgia boots, one of the best that's ever been made there. Lacrosse, they carry those as well. And if you need some deck boots there that's just doing some stuff outside, those as well. One of the new things they've got with corn is the triple grip. This corn comes with corn, roasted soybeans, and peanuts. That worked great. Deer love it. Put it out. Also, flashlights, easy to have one of those. Pet supplies, and we get into keeping critters away from the house, all these insecticides, and, of course, seed, feed. You're going to be needing some of that wheat, ryegrass, and guns and ammo. It's all at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply, exit 151 off the interstate.
Coming home from work, I was involved in a multi-car wreck. I never saw it coming. It was obvious that I needed help.
I'm Mississippi Attorney Richard Schwartz. I'm proud to represent the people of the great state I call home. And if you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
I'm Laura from Columbus, Mississippi, and it took one call and that was all. I called my Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz, and he got me $250,000.
If you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
I think each of us would agree that man's best friend is truly a dog. I mean, I love my dogs. I think one of mine's laying, well, I only got one left. But bless her heart, she's laying over here. She goes everywhere with me. If I go to town, she thinks she gets to go. But have you seen this story? Am I saying his name right? I always say it wrong. Cuomo or Cuomo? Cuomo.
Yeah.
Have you seen the story in the dog?
Bonehead. That's how you.
Bonehead, that's it. That's how you pronounce it. Let me pull up this picture here. This is him with a picture, and the name of the dog is Captain. Now, supposedly, Captain may have nipped at a few people around the governor's mansion, and staff says that he didn't really take up a whole lot of time with Captain, and he left the dog and said anybody that wants it takes it.
Oh, my goodness.
And the dog was wandering around the mansion yesterday with nobody. And then late last night, he puts that picture out, and let me pull that picture back up, with him and Captain saying that that's his best friend and he never would have left him and that he's harmful. But how bad are you to want to leave your dog at the mansion?
Yeah, you're dealing with someone, obviously, that has no morals. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but
I just, and then at the last hour, he commuted 5 people that had committed murders. He let them loose out of jail because you have that right as a governor to turn out like the president does from your state, some folks that's been arrested. He did 5 yesterday.
yeah, usually you see, if you look throughout history, even presidents, outgoing presidents, that you'll see where they start commuting and just releasing a lot of people before they walk out the door, because they still have that power.
Right.
And before January, let's go ahead and get this taken care of and get this done, because it may not happen with the next administration. So you see that's really not surprising. I don't agree with it, but it's a case by case basis. But
Yeah, one of the ones there, a 1981 Brinks robbery. 3 people were killed, and that guy is free on the streets now. You can't judge everybody's heart, but do you really want that type person on the streets roaming?
No, you can't judge everybody, but I will tell you this, that we remove consequences from people's actions. And when you remove consequences from people's actions, they become creature of habits. Hey, I committed this crime. If you look at our percentage, and I don't know it right offhand, I know it's high, especially here, just here in Meridian.
Local.
I can only speak for Meridian locally, even with the Lauderdale County Sheriff Department, that a huge percentage of individuals that are incarcerated are repeat offenders. And so obviously we have a broken system.
Yeah, we do.
And so, but you see that, and I'm talking about violent offenders, violent repeat offenders, that the 16-year-old female just a couple of months ago that committed murder over there on the west side of town off of Highway 19 North, and she was currently out for armed robbery.
And then she went and committed another crime.
And committed another crime. And so yeah, it's just it's a broken system, and what do you do about it?
And I bring this up on lighthearted. You know how we talked about where you were going to be opening up the donut shop called Cheese. I was walking through with a cup of coffee in the front of the house the other evening on the front porch, and it was the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. I'm telling you, there was 4 to 5 cop cars. The road was blocked, and I thought, what have I done? And I thought, here it is. Chris has already opened up his donut shop, and I don't know it. And we had a neighbor that got scared that somebody was breaking in, and it turned out there wasn't. But let me tell you something. The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department, when them boys come, ain't nobody getting away from them.
Ain't nobody.
It was a secure perimeter.
That's it.
I like to drop my coffee.
That's it. Hey, and the way I look at it is look, nothing bad happened.
That's right.
So that, to me, I call it preventive maintenance. If you're not sure, if you think something's going on, I'd much rather you call and it not be anything than not call, and then it's too late and something happened. And so yeah, that's just.
You're right. There's too many times that people don't call, and you think, well, that looks kind of odd there. And then, well, let's talk about what happened the other day in Meridian. Of course, we all know it's been crime. First, let me say this right now, and I wrote this down this morning. Jackson, Mississippi, since January of this year, 95 murders. Did everybody hear that? Mississippi, 95 people have been killed in Jackson, Mississippi this year alone. There's more to come. This is not over. The last was a guy got killed by a guy, drove up beside him with a clown face mask, killed him.
Right.
Meridian, in the last 2 months now, 9 murders.
Yeah,
is that right?
Since around mid-July, I think. Mid-July, I think there was. Since then, I think we've had 8 to 9 murders.
That's strong.
Yeah, when there's instability, when there's instability in a local government and a national government, when there's no communication, when there's not a clear plan,
right,
a clear direction, then there's going to create obviously instability and then chaos. It just is. I think Jackson, what you mentioned about 95 murders so far this year, I think in April of this year that Jackson had surpassed their murder rate from last year, which last year was their highest murder rate. I think they were second in the nation population-wise.
That's bad.
In murder rate. You're talking about second in the nation. Chicago, Illinois, New York.
And look at the difference of how many more people live in these other cities.
Exactly. So they far surpassed that around April of this past year. So they were ahead of that in the rate. I think there was 136 or 137 murders last year in Jackson alone. Meridian had 13 last year. I think from January of this year till around June, I think we had 1 or 2.
Right.
And then we just had a huge spike. Why we've had that spike?
I think most people watching would probably figure that out.
I'm not even gonna go there. I will say this, that it's a direct result of instability. And I've said it before. Look, it's no secret or anything. People have often asked me and asked others and stuff and commented on social media and things of that nature. It wasn't specifically about me once again, but by removing by removing that stability in law enforcement, they not only remove one individual, which is me. They not only remove that, but they remove the morale. They removed the police department from being proactive, and they forced them to be reactive. They removed the manpower. We're already shorthanded, and then a lot of individuals lost confidence in it, and they left in this administration because they didn't know what direction they were going. And they removed the federal partnership when the feds pulled out, because they said obviously this city administration is not serious about cleaning up the city, so we're removing ourselves.
And that's a biggie there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge thing. Look, when you have detectives interviewing a gang member for a certain crime, and he says, before we saw, we were scared. We were scared to move. They still did it, but we were scared to move because all the unmarked vehicles and the marshals coming in. We didn't know where they were, if they were going to be coming around the corner, kicking the door in or whatever. Now we don't see that. So it's open season. So that's not coming from me. That's coming from the bad guys.
Right.
And so when you remove security like that, when you remove that footprint, when you remove that stability and that security, the bad guy's going to take over territory.
And I think we're seeing that.
Not only on the local level, but the national level.
You know, and I brought this up, that what happened on Sunday afternoon. Of course, there were 4 shootings in Meridian over the weekend. We had 2 people shot in the back, 2 people shot in the leg. Now, is that gang initiation or was it arguments? I cannot tell you, but something went on. The next incident that we had, if you'll go back and read the post that I put, that incident had happened in the parking lot of a local business. And if I remember correctly, somebody sees somebody acting suspicious and they approach him. Well, he whips out a gun and either shoots at them or shoots in the air, doesn't hit anybody, proceeds to run across Highway 11 and 80, runs behind another hotel, then proceeds to run in the front door of a restaurant that's serving Sunday lunch, and with a gun in his hand. He's blocked at the door. I don't know. I wasn't there. I've just only read from what people were there. At some point, the cops call. They surround it. He runs out the back door, jumps in a car, and they catch him, more or less, is I think what happened. But it's bad when things like that are happening in our little town. We need to put a stop to it some way, somehow.
Yeah, what do we do about it? I'll tell you who I'm kind of impressed with, and is because he's actually stepping up. And there has to be consequences to your actions. You're not going to stop it, all right? But you can have a huge effect when you let them know that there are consequences.
You draw a line in the sand.
Draw a line in the sand that there are consequences, and when they start feeling that, saying, "Man, look, I may not get caught, but if I do, I'm done." It makes a difference. You can see based on the numbers and the statistics and the crime ratings and things of that nature. Whenever you do have a system set in place where there are definitely consequences, and we're going to do everything we can to prosecute you to the fullest if you choose that lifestyle. Well, when you remove that, then it just runs rampant. But Judge, I have to give him credit, Judge Dustin Markham.
Yes.
Hey, look,
$1 million you're not getting out.
Kudos to him. I hope he sticks with it. And from all, things that I've heard or whatever, he is. And this is the way that it's going to be. I hope you wouldn't choose that, but if you choose it, this is what's going to happen. And now, will you have people, family members and stuff of the criminals that are going, oh, that's, it's not like they killed a person, they just randomly shot into a house.
Right.
You're going to have that, but it goes with the territory. It definitely
They
goes with
complain.
yeah, they're going to complain. You're not going to please everybody all the time.
Robert made the comment that we need us a Buford pusser in Meridian, and it would probably cut back on the amount of crime. Buford did kind of cull that down there.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, well, different dispensation.
You're right.
Somebody asked me. I think this was probably 9 months ago. We had an incident where officers had to take enforcement action, and I had a council member ask me, says, well, they're complaining about why you just didn't use your billy club. And I'm going, what? Billy club? And I'm going, man, I'm kind of offended at the name Billy Club.
I hadn't heard that term before.
Or nightstick. And I said, no, we're not going to.
Do cops still tote that?
No. Meridian Police Department did, and the Sheriff Department.
Because, when you brought that up, it flashed through my mind. I just hadn't seen one hanging on a belt.
Well, technology has changed. Less than lethal force You have taser, guns now, less
That reach a little further.
Then your pepper spray, things like that. I think they use the collapsible P24 or whatever, but that's the last resort. I mean, seriously, and I had a council person ask me that, and I'm going, "Are you serious? Are you seriously asking
that was asked
why we didn't use?" Now, what kind of news would that make if you come up on a scene, because everything's being recorded live stream, and you have an officer with a billy club, waylaying on somebody, said because I perceived him as a threat. Come on now.
Yeah, that would not go over well. It would make headlines everywhere.
It wouldn't go over.
So, wow. That's what is it? Because you've been in law enforcement how many years?
About 22, 23 years, in combination with working with the State Department in Iraq for about 3.5, 4.
There's a lot of people that don't understand the job, that sit back behind a computer and they sit here and they run everybody down. What they don't realize is you think of yourself right here. You're going down the road. You have to get out of your car and approach somebody. You don't know what you're walking to. Maybe it's a family argument. Of what a cop really goes through. And let's then throw in what he makes for a living a year. He's got to love the job, number one, to be there to begin with.
Right.
But what they're faced with, because they don't know what they're walking into. Like when you go into your job most every day, you kind of know what's going to happen. You got this paperwork done. You've got to get this order out, all of this. You don't have the unexpected person that can harm you. And then everything is taken out of context. Not every time, but things are taken out of context. Do you remember the guy that punched the female, and they made a big stink out of it nationwide, and she was biting him on him, and he had to get him off of her, and he hit her in the throat, and it knocked her down, and they tried to paint the guy as but he was proven that nothing was wrong.
Right. Yeah, we usually wait. Like I said, we're
to the news camera show up.
Armchair quarterback. We sit behind social media. We make a decision based on what we just saw on social media and say, well, it must be true because it's on social media. Law enforcement, I used to say this, and it's still true, that the two main things that gets an officer hurt or killed in the line of duty is complacency. Hey, I've made 1,000 traffic stops and nothing's happened.
Yeah.
And then fear of liability. And that fear of liability obviously has taken over the number one spot.
Did you see this last week? This was out of Nashville, Tennessee. And if y'all don't watch what happens in Nashville, I have to give them kudos to really staying on top of what's happening in their city when something goes wrong. An officer pulls a guy over. Well, he's actually stopped in the parking lot of a store. The cop gets out of the car, walks up to him and goes, "Hey, man, you okay?" And the guy's got a knife in his hand. And he goes, "You all right there, buddy? Put the knife up." The guy won't put the knife down. So he calls for backup, and he steps away from the car. And this goes on. He keeps talking to the guy. Probably 3 to 4 minutes passes, saying, "Put the gun down, step out of the car, and let's talk about this." The other cops come up, and he comes out of the car with the knife in hand after the officer. And they show the entire thing till the guy's down. And he was killed by an officer because he was going to kill him.
Right.
I've seen 2 incidences from Nashville where that happened, where they were attacked and they had no other choice.
Yeah, we're just living in a day and age now in law enforcement where we're so afraid to take action because, once again, of fear of liability, being found, guilty. So my point is, the law enforcement's mindset today is no matter what actions I take, if I get called to a scene or not, or I initiate it with a traffic stop or seeing a suspicious person, our mindset today is, I don't want to do anything because I'll end up being put on the stand and it'll be my fault. And so sometimes in that split second can cost you, can make the difference between you living or dying. The person getting out with a knife, if he didn't have backup, how would he have responded?
Yeah.
The guy gets out. You see what I'm saying? I'll give you a perfect example. In Georgia, years and years and years ago, they used this as a training video. Someone complained on a deputy in Georgia because he pulled his weapon on an individual that was high on crack.
All right.
And so he pulled his weapon on him until he could control the situation. Some family members came in and complained. The sheriff brought the deputy in and says, if you pull your weapon out again, that says this will be your last time that you're working for this department or this agency. And so you're talking about a young deputy. All
Yeah.
right? It fast forward to 2 weeks after that conversation with the sheriff. He gets in a car chase and chases him for like 45 minutes or whatever. This is all on the dash cam video. The truck pulls over. Individual who was a 40-something-year-old white professor from a local college there opens his driver door and gets out and looks back at the deputy and then pulls his rifle out and starts loading his rifle. And the whole time, the deputy's sitting there on the dash cam video. On the whole time, the deputy's going, "Sir, please put the gun down, put the gun down, put the gun down, put the gun down, please." And he's steadily doing this, loading that rifle. Steadily going out. He turns around and he points the gun toward the deputy in the car. And he said, "Sir," and he's still, "Please, please, 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 please," pop, 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 pop. And then the deputy runs and gets cover behind the patrol car. And the guy walks up, pop, 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 pop. And you hear him taking his last breath on his audio mic. And the individual gets in his vehicle, rolls on. Now, he was scared. His mindset was, man, if I pull my gun, I'm going to get in trouble, lose my job.
Right.
And so we're living in a day and age now where our mindset is we're so scrutinized and so ridiculed and so put down and defund the police. And we hate the police. It's the police's fault. Why did the police do that? We love watching YouTube videos on social media and going, yeah, the officer should have taken this act. Oh, he shouldn't have.
Let me ask this. Are we past the point of no return on this? Is there a way you think that America can turn around and this not happen, or is it too late where we are with technology? Or is that a fair question?
Well, I think when you have a government, a local government, and a national government that will stand behind the American people and support them, that can it be turned around? Yes, it can be turned around. But I'll get into the spiritual part of it. All right. Right now, we're just, God says, "Hey, you want a Saul? I'm fixing to give you a King Saul."
That's true.
But a David always comes.
That's a very good point there. Words from Chris this morning. Let's head out to, Cicalina this morning. Freeman Tractor. If you've never seen a picture of Buttermilk, this is our friend Buttermilk here. He's got the lady right beside him there. Drop in and see them today. If you're looking for a tractor, they'll take care of you. They've got so many lawnmowers, it's not funny. Now, they're kind of low on this brand here. Exmark has been heading out the door. They just got in a new shipment of Skags. If you're looking for the #1 riding lawnmower in America, they have them there. Take that test drive around the parking lot there. Cut a little grass. They love to see people cut grass out there. Tractors are coming in this week. Cab, air conditioned. They got a heap of them there. You can even get, as we get ready for deer season, if you're looking for a great deal on any of these, maybe you need a new disc. Yep, these are galvanized, won't rust. They'll last you and last you. It's all there from the benchies. These are made in Texas. They can fix you up with 60%, 60 month, not 60%, but 0% for 60 months. A tongue twister there. They got different models to choose from with air. You can order them that way. And, of course, the 550 and the 750 series. If it's lawnmower parts you need, they've got that as well. You'll find it all there from blades to belts to anything that your tractor might need. See them. It's our friends at Freeman Tractor. They're out on Highway 494.
No matter what hat you wear, if you're hurt on the job, you're gonna need me. We've helped thousands of our injured clients get their medical bills paid and recover lost wages. And we're ready to help do the same for you today. One call, that's all.
And you say, what does the new governor of New York look like? I thought I'd show you a picture of her. Here she is. That's her. She is now taking over.
Thing I can tell how she looks, she's a brunette. That's it. Wearing a mask.
She is. You can't really tell a whole lot about that. I was looking to see. They really don't. There's no picture of her without it. Wait a minute. Here we go. Let's pull this up here. Here she is signing the papers here. So that's her. She is, and the first governor, female governor of New York ever. So we'll see how that turns out.
I went to New York one time.
How'd it turn out?
Didn't like it.
I have never been to New York.
I actually had to go to federal court on a case that I did, and flew me up there, picked me up at the airport, drove me to my hotel downtown. They said, "Hey, if you want to go see Times Square and all that, you're just 15 blocks away. Walk." I said, "Oh no! You're not gonna get old little Mississippi boy Chris Reed." I said, "He's not gonna get mugged. a kidnap or anything like that, I'm not going to make the news. No, I'll stay in my hotel and in the morning pick me up for court. And so DEA picked me up and we parked in Chinatown, and I got out. I said, "Hey man," I said, "You're fine with your car right here?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "If they take it, then we get another one." Yeah, that just nonchalant. And we were walking to the courtroom, and I said, "Man," I said, "Is there a zoo down around the federal court building, whatever?" I said, "What's that smell?" I said, "Y'all have a zoo?" And they said, "No, it just smells like that every day." I said, "Man, get me back home." And I said, "We have, we
got our issues."
Yeah, I smell chicken houses, but it's because we have chicken houses.
Right. There's a reason
They
for it.
didn't have a zoo, and it still smelled like a zoo.
Yeah, that's different. I'd like to go visit the Statue of Liberty one day, but I'm not hankering to stay. And,
No.
God bless them. It's just a different lifestyle that we have. I like it very quiet with 5 people at a stop sign being a traffic jam.
My goodness, look, I told them they drove like an hour and a half, and I said, "How long does it take you to drive to work every day?" They said, "An hour and a half." And they only live like probably 20, 25 miles away. And
Yeah,
I'm going,
that's major.
Crazy. They said, "Well, how far do you, how long does it take you to get to work?" I said, 5 minutes.
Boom,
They
we're
said,
there.
"What's that like?" I said, "I love it."
Get home in a hurry. Yeah. Don't forget tomorrow, another subject that a lot of people got some questions about. We'll have our special guest, Mr. John G. Anderson. He is the CEO, president of Anderson Hospital, who will be here to talk about COVID. There is so many questions that are unanswered that people don't know. It's back and forth, but he's going to be here to take questions, and we'll find out just how bad it really is in Meridian, Mississippi. He's on the front lines of this at Anderson Hospital. He sees it and can tell you what really is happening. You and I were talking about this earlier this morning, and I'll ask him tomorrow about this. The medicine that is given to horses that has become popular, IV, how do you pronounce it?
Ivermectin or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You want to talk about a controversy in the state of Mississippi and Alabama, and I Googled it yesterday, and Lord, these other states are just giving us a hard time about it. I understand that in proportion is correctly, and that it can be given to you from a doctor. The problem, if I'm understanding right, is that the pill is prescribed for a horse and it's too much for a human. And this will do major, major damage to your liver on down the road. If you think the vaccine is bad, wait to what this does to you later, is what I'm hearing. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. We'll talk to Anderson tomorrow, and maybe he can give us some insight.
Right. Look,
have you taken any of it?
No.
Me either.
Look, I don't like shots, but
And take very little medicine.
We're taking it in a liquid form or anything like that. I'm not a pill taker or I hate being so dependent on something. Now, I'm not saying that it's necessarily wrong. I mean, there's medications out there
Correct.
that help people and stuff, but given the right way and given by someone that says, "Hey, this is okay or not okay," I'm not going to go to the and I'm not faulting anyone who does, but I'm not going to go to the farm supply and say, "Hey, I need some goat wormer because I've got a sore on my arm, so maybe if it'll cure."
But I'm telling you, people are arguing over this like there is no tomorrow.
Right. That just look, we're in a day and age, and it's sad. It is sad that we're so divided as a people, and we allow any and everything to divide us. And that's why I despise social media, because if a husband and a wife gets in an argument and a disagreement, they're going to go to social media
And type about it.
Because they need that attention. They need those likes. They need, you're not the one that's at fault and stuff. So now we were divided as a race. It was a black and white, and then Asians, whenever they came in California.
Yeah, that was a big talk.
Yeah, it was a big talk. Then now we're divided. Gender, like I told you before, I always thought there was 2, but now there's 71 or 72 different
At
genders
least.
and stuff. And if I disagree with it, then I'm a racist. And then now here we go. Hey, you wear a mask. Why aren't you wearing a mask? Do you not care about me and my family or whatever? We're divided on who's wearing a mask. Mandate, and it all derives from this. All the government's telling us, they're trying to control our lives or whatever, whether you agree with it or not, whether you're vaccinated or not. Don't allow those things in the world and the condition that we're in to divide us as a people. And we're just allowing those things. Oh, you live in a double wide?
Yeah, you're
Who are
right.
you? I have brick. You know,
and you're no better, no matter what you live in. Because I may mention this more, Chris. Bear with me here. Everybody watching this, including me and you are going to die. This is going to happen. Each day that we breathe, we're one step closer to when that will end.
Correct.
You're no better. You're not leaving this world with one penny. I mean, nothing. No earthly possessions can you drag with you. So whether you live in a double wide, you live in a brick house, or a mansion, you ain't taking it with you.
Look, brother, you open it up, so I'm going to walk in.
Walk in. Come on with me.
So yeah, look, you can go to Ecclesiastes 9 and where Solomon in his old age talked about it. And in Ecclesiastes, you can sum up the book of Ecclesiastes as how to live your life. But in Ecclesiastes 9, he basically says that you're going to die unless Yeshua comes back. All right, the second coming, we're all gonna die. Righteous, unrighteous, wicked, good, we're all going to die. Well, the Black Plague came through in 14th century, and I think 75 million people were wiped out.
That's a heat.
All right, between Asia, Africa, and Europe, just swept across the place. Well, I imagine there were people going, this is it. This is it. World War I happened. World War II happened. The Holocaust happened. Vietnam, 58,000. 2018, I think we were talking about some numbers. In 2018 alone, 9.2 million people died of cancer worldwide. That's 26,000 people a day. 626,000 people die annually in the United States.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Look, you are not promised this life. Paul says it. He says this old body right here is withering away day by day.
It is.
But day by day, my inner man is being renewed. So my whole point is this: quit wondering if you're going to live or if you're going to die. You're going to die.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to die. Is know that you know that you know that you're going to be on the other side of eternity.
Yeah.
You're going to spend eternity somewhere. You see what I'm saying? You're going to, but we're asking the wrong questions about. We're fearing death, and that's just a
I don't fear it.
Just a ploy from the enemy. You know, do I want to see my kids grow up and be successful? Yeah, most definitely. So there's that, and there's nothing wrong with those things. But just make sure that your house is in order. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world, the notoriety, the publicity, the money, and everything, but yet loses his own soul? Loses what does it profit? Look, Elvis Presley, he died.
He did.
Michael Jackson, he died. All well-known celebrity people that people just love and say there's no one like, they're going to die.
That's correct.
They're going to die. We're not promised tomorrow.
Ooh. As you said, he's not talking about vacuuming and getting your house in order. He's getting your life ready for Jesus. If you don't know Jesus,
get your
we know
life.
some folks.
I had an opportunity 3 weeks ago to do something that there's nothing and no amount of riches that this world can offer me that I would replace the experience I had.
Washed your wife's clothes?
No, that was yesterday. 3 weeks ago, my baby girl. God put a new heart in her. He didn't invite her in. Jesus doesn't need inviting.
That's right.
All right. He put a new heart in her. And she asked me, Daddy, will you baptize me?
Really? That's wonderful.
And so I had an opportunity, and I told her, I said, I baptize you. I said, my goodness, I said, I baptize you, my daughter, and now my sister in Christ, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it was her first act of obedience, being raised to life again. And so that's what it's about.
Oh, it is definitely.
Forget all of this turmoil. Look, we've been going through turmoil, wars, and rumors of wars throughout time. Quit focusing on those things. Philippians 4:6-10 talks about whatever things pure, holy, just, worthy, praiseworthy. Think on those things. Just think on those things. Look, you're going to have. Did Paul worry about being thrown into prison and being chained to guards, beaten 39 times because 40 times would kill a person? So he did. They beat him 39 with 39 stripes and whips. No, he didn't. He just says, hey, it's an opportunity to invest in the kingdom of God because this soldier's tied to me, chained to me for 24/7, and he can't go anywhere. Hey, let me tell you about this Jesus.
It is a good thing.
All right, I'll stop.
No, there's no reason to stop. But Chris made some very good points there, and I hope some of that hit home with a few folks there, and you carry it with you today.
Yeah.
Now, Candace usually talks about this here, but I'm going to rely on you because you know a lot about ladies.
I do.
what they wear and what they do.
Exactly.
Don't forget when visiting Tiffany Blue Decor that all military gets 10% off. Of course, they've got a bunch of the necklaces that I don't know the particular names of, but it's pretty. If you're looking for that, she's got that. Also, jackets and camouflage style. Yeah, also, plenty of hats and T-shirts galore there as we go through the different pour some pumpkin on me. That really would fit you, I think.
I think it's just the color that it brings out. It brings out the color of my eyebrow, so I love that color on that.
We may have to get
shirt.
you that there. Kiss shirts, if you're looking for a hat, they got plenty of those to choose from. Also, the tees that are continuously throughout there. People love these put in their house. Also, bedding, they got 20% off of the bedding right now at Tiffany. Also, more T-shirts there from the Ranch Hand. You got it. Also, paintings that are in this week. She's got these. These are hand painted here locally. And the latest here, gets for under $20. If you're looking for one of these, they've got plenty of those to choose from. See Tiffany. She's located right up in Broadmoor, or you want to call it North Hills, next to Mugshots there inside the Atrium Mall. See her today. They'll make you a deal. They'll be there through 5:30 this afternoon. See her. She'll help you out.
I'm calling about my accident claim.
Don't let the insurance company beat you up. I'll take the fight to them and get you everything you deserve. One call, that's all.
Chris, I thought we'd turn to a few things that went on this date. And if I were to say the name Hal Smith, it probably would not mean a thing to anybody. But a guy named Hal Smith was born in 1916 on this date. You would later know this guy as Otis.
Oh, Otis.
Was he not the most...
He's good people.
He was. You couldn't help but like Otis. He may have had a little drinking problem from time to time, but he'd let himself out and go heck on. I liked him. One of the biggest names, and a lot of people may not know this name. They go, I've heard it, but I don't know what it means. A guy named Fred Rose was born on this date. He would later become the guy that was the mastermind behind Hank Williams and many, many countless others of Acuff Rose music. This is the guy. He only made it. And here's the contrast to this. Hank may have drank a lot. He died in 1953. This man did not. He only made it one more year. He died in 1954. Wow. Right after Hank, as you said. And Hank had that song, I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive. And what is interesting about that was released when Hank died. That was on the radio when Hank died and became a big hit afterwards. Something to think on there. Yeah. Mike Huckabee. Who's a big fan of Mike Huckabee? He was born on this date back in 55. He's done a lot for a lot of folks there. Good man. Waylon Jennings was arrested on this date. And if you'll remember the song, they came in the back door as we played our song. Don't you think this outlaw stuff's got out of hand? He wrote a song about it. He was arrested for possession of something he shouldn't have had. You know, at one point, I think he said he had a habit of $3,500 a day. That's pretty serious.
$3,500 a day.
He was bad hooked on it, we might say. But turned his life around in the end, and Waylon was a great guy. Also, John Lennon's killer was sentenced on this date back in 1981. Do you remember this guy? And that's the stages of his life from 80, 98, 12, and back in 18.
Wow.
And why did he do that? We'll never know the answer to why he killed John Lennon. Just meanness is all best I can say. Back in Mississippi, we made history on this day. Back in 83, Jerry Lee Lewis's wife was found dead at his home there from an overdose. They wasn't married very long. He's been married quite a few times there. Jerry Lee. 1985, the number one song. You probably still walk around humming it. Dolly and Kenny had the number one song, Real Love, on this day. They kind of looked like a couple, didn't they?
Yeah, I wonder how many cans, and ladies, those that are watching or listening, I wonder how many cans of that beautiful white rain hairspray it took to keep her hair from moving in 30-knot winds.
Well, here's the question to that is because when do you know if it's her hair? Because most of everything she wears, I think, is a wig, isn't it? I have never seen Dolly what they would call her real hair.
I don't know, but I guarantee you right there in that picture, whatever.
White rain.
It's like, white rain. Is that what it is? Yeah, that it's like Velcro right now that they had to, after that picture, they had to pry Kenny off her. Maybe tomorrow you can ask the mayor, Mayor Covington.
Mayor Covington.
Yeah, ask her tomorrow about the white rain hairspray and stuff. But yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
And what we're going to have Cindy Covington in with us tomorrow morning.
What do they call that? That style? What was it? Teasing?
Yeah, where you take the pick
Yeah.
and do the hair. Yeah,
I didn't have to tease my mullet, but I had the bangs where I could feather it, and then I had the mullet, and then I actually got a perm in my mullet. And, yeah.
Denise said that hair is called shellacked. Yeah. Do you remember Huey Lewis? He had the #1 song in '85 on this date, "Power of Love." I do remember. It was in Back to the Future, wasn't it?
I was I remember driving in a '79 Mustang, candy apple red, 4-cylinder. The clutch slipped a lot, and it smoked like a mosquito sprayer. Listening to Huey Lewis and the News.
I'm trying to remember. '79, was that still the little bitty Mustang?
Little hatchback, little Mustang. Yeah.
Like
but it was a
Charlie's
Mustang.
Angels drove.
But it was a Mustang. I'm leaving it at that.
I've decided I'd like a '69. I think that '69 year model looks really good.
I'd love to have an old restored Mustang.
They're out there, boy. And I see pictures on these sites that I'm members of that I'm ready to go mortgage the house to go get a couple of, because boy, it'll hook you in.
Look, you said that they are out there, and this is awesome that you keep inviting me, paying me $700 a day to come out here. That I'm saving that up.
And you go buy you a car.
Buy me a car. I appreciate that.
It was 2010 that Doug Stone was arrested. You remember Doug? He broke out with that breakout song of "I'd Be Better Off in a Pine Box." 2010, they put him in a box, all right, for DUI. He's had some issues there. He couldn't help himself. And on this date, I think as kids, we all watched this show because it was a lifestyle that we weren't accustomed to. We'd never seen it. But he passed away on this date. Robin Leach, The Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Do you remember that show?
Yes, I remember that show.
You ever been on a yacht? I've been on one. I've never owned one. I got to walk on somebody's and look around. There is really a different lifestyle out there that we don't know about.
Look here. Look, I came home from Iraq on leave. I had to go over there for 4 or 5 months at a time, and then I'd come home for like 18, 19 days. Well, look, I'd been over there going 5 months, and I was wore out, so I was ready to come home. I told my wife, get her passport, get our daughter, get her a passport done. She said, what are we going to do? I flew them to the Bahamas, and we went there, and we stayed at one of the resorts there. And we walked by a yacht that had a helicopter pad and a helicopter parked on top of it. And I'm going, oh my! You can't. It
makes you go, what did he do in life that I did?
What did he do in life? Yeah, exactly. But what's the famous, because you it was in the mid to 70s, 80s. Is it William Hughes, Howard Hughes?
Howard Hughes,
considered one of the richest men in the world. I think I mentioned it before that they did an interview with him, and back then he was considered one of the richest men in the world. And they asked him, says, what would it take for you to be happy? And he said, just a little bit more.
And that's the way it is.
And that's the way it is.
Greed to get you. Y'all be careful with it. Hey, we wanted to bring this up. The Shriners, and this is going to be in Marion. They're going to have boiled peanuts and salted Cajun starting September the 2nd. So that's going to be Tuesday is the 31st. So about Thursday of next week, they're going to have these. It does say it right there, Thursday. Hello.
I love food.
It's good stuff.
Cajun peanuts, boiled peanuts. I love it.
There was something else that I was going to bring up here. That was Wendy's where that happened through there. Oh, where's that woman's story? Oh, you see this a lot, and I want to show her a picture because a lot of times people, when you're married, you get, what's the word, comfortable? Is that it? Comfortable. Is that it? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Secure.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you start seeing somebody go to the gym. And they work out for months, sometimes a year or two there. And then you bump into them and you go, who are you? What happened to that other person? This is a lady who got a divorce. And I just wanted to show you the difference of what she looks like after doing this. Here it is. This was her, happy, comfortable. And this is the new her after the gym. I mean, that don't look like the same person, does it?
No. Was she married? You said she
got a divorce, and then so she had to get on the dating scene, and she started working out again. Now the question is, how long does that last? I don't know. There's a lot of folks that even I for a week, no, an hour, I don't go eat something, but I am very comfortable in my fatness now, and I really like it.
It's not fatness. It's politically correct. You have to be politically correct nowadays. It's gravitationally challenged.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm getting word that you may like Reese's cups there.
Oh, look, that is my legal form of cocaine.
We'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank y'all for dropping by. We appreciate it so much.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by